Joining me now is Sophie, who heads up the vocals in the band Shiva, who are from Deal in Kent. Sophie, thanks for joining me this evening. Are you gigging a little bit later on?
Yes, we are. We're actually gigging tonight at Chin Chin's Bar in Deal at approximately 9 o'clock.
Well, thank you for squeezing us in before that. Before we chat about all of your gigs and everything you have going on, let's go back to the beginning. How was Shiva formed?
So I was looking to start a dance band in sort of late 2022. I wanted to do something different, and I noticed that there weren't many bands doing dance music, sort of 90s era, things like that. So I put the feelers out on Facebook, and I managed to get hold of a few very, very handy young men who wanted to try and put the idea to life. And Shiva was born pretty quickly after that.
Do you think that going back a little bit further before 2022, lockdown inspired you as an artist to then sort of look into the band a little bit further at that point? It's just, I only ask because when I'm speaking to a lot of artists at the moment, they're sort of saying, actually, for all of the things that lockdown was, the one thing that it helped me with was rediscovering my creativity, my voice, recentering my focus. How did you find that as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, I'd been in a band previously, but it sort of run its course. And I just wanted to do something different. I've always been used to trying to show my voice off and doing covers that sort of, that make it our own. And I wanted to do something that was more for the audience. I wanted to get people up dancing because I personally like to go out to clubs and dance. So for me, that's a big thing. And I think if you can get everyone on the dance floor together in unity, it's a really beautiful thing. So that was what I was aiming for, and fortunately it happened to work.
Can you talk me through, I like this style because obviously, you perform songs from the 70s to current house music. Headline tracks, what are those tracks that you're like your go-tos? We know we're going to rock the room with this one. It's basically anything that gets you on the dance floor. So we do things like, obviously, classics like Chic. So we're going back to the 70s disco. There's a little bit of 80s dance in there as well. But the 90s was really where we found our niche. Let Me Be Your Fantasy. We even do a little bit of garage, drum and bass. We're trying to cover all areas. So there's something for everyone, which I think is great. Totally. I like it. When you said garage there, that was not what I was expecting. But loving all the genres. And as you say, it's something that's a little bit different. I think in particular when you go somewhere and you feel like you want to get up and dance and you aren't even necessarily in a nightclub, I think that's when you're really rocking it. Talk to me about the other people in the band. What are their names and what are their roles?
Okay, so we've got Pete, he's our drummer, and he actually plays an electric drum kit, so that's brilliant because he can program certain sounds for certain songs, which is essential. Ian, the keyboard player, obviously without keys you can't make those electronic sounds, so he's brilliant. He does samples and everything, he's amazing. We've got Les and Daryl, so Les on bass guitar. Les actually comes from a more metal music background, so for him this is unbelievable that he's doing this stuff. And Daryl, I actually know of from bands in Deal. He's a great lead guitarist. And we've also got Colin, who's our sound guy, who comes along and does all the sound for us.
The tracks that you talk about, you touched on it a little bit there. We're not talking like acoustic, you and a guitarist and it all kind of comes together. They're incredibly produced tracks. How is that in terms of all of you working together and coming together to really deliver it and bring it to life?
So basically the process is I make a playlist on Spotify of all the songs that I love. The songs that if I'm in the toilets when I'm out, I'm like, oh my God, this song's on. Get out there on the dance floor. All the floor fillers, classic floor fillers. And then we go through the playlist and we have a little jam. We see what's going to work. Some stuff is so overproduced, you literally can't replicate it with a band. Or it's just too technical. So we go through, see what works, and what works, we then perfect, and then it's in the set. That's it.
When you say some songs are overproduced, That must be tough, because presumably a lot of what you get as well is requests. So when you come up and you think, hey, we definitely couldn't do this one live here, that's going to be a real struggle. Are you able to communicate that to the audience, or is it sort of a really slim number of songs that you aren't actually able to do live?
To be fair, we don't really do requests. If people have got ideas they want to throw at us, whenever, that's fine. But we've got a set list. We have to stick to it. We have to get it right. It's got to sound good. It's got to work. So we stick to our guns with what we've got. But we're happy to try new things. So if anyone's got any ideas, then, we're happy to have a listen.
Love it. Well, talk to me a little bit about what you're up to in terms of future places you're gigging, if we can't quite make tonight, and the plans for the future as well for Shiva.
So tonight we're at Chin Chin. So if you're around, if you're in Deal, then come down, because we guarantee you'll have a good time. Our next gig is the Mariners Arms in Herne Bay on the 21st of April. So that would be good, because we haven't been over there yet. We're trying to get a few different towns just so we can get our name out there. But what we're looking for is functions, events. We want to go big. We want to have the big crowds, big audiences, and try and have the best time with our audience. And I think we're just looking to expand, really, and just try and go as far as we can. We just want to have a good time as well. We want to enjoy it. We don't want it to be a chore. We just want to have fun with it.
Shiva, thank you for joining me this evening. If anyone's listening and thinking, A, I want to contact them, or B, I want to know more, where can we find out more?
All right, we are on Facebook, obviously. We're also on Instagram. We've got a YouTube channel, so you can see some of the footage of the gigs and listen to the songs we're doing. We're looking into starting up a website, so that would be great. But Facebook, Insta and YouTube is where you'll find us.
Sophie, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck with the gig tonight.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Cheers. Bye.
Sophie there, the lead singer from the band Shiva, joining me to talk about the future for them and the gig she's up to this evening.
Nobody knows it